Scots and Ford proudly present Ford Monday Night Football.
Manchester United wanted to win yesterday, and they did. They're now one step away from retaining the title. So it's championship life or death for Kenny Dalglish's Blackburn. They've got to win tonight to keep it going.
Ford Monday Night Football.
Blackburn have chased long and hard and made a real scrap of it. But was this the moment to fade away?
Bardsley. Oh, it's put away by Reddy.
Well, if they want to keep it going, they know what they've got to do. That's win tonight. Whatever happens, they've had a great season. A record points haul for the club. They've qualified to play in Europe for the first time. So it's not all bad. As Ian Pearce, the hero at West Ham for them last midweek. The Ford Monday Night Football comes from Highfield Road. It's Coventry City against Blackburn Rovers. And this is the top. Rovers have to win or United can start celebrating. Anything other than 3 points for Blackburn tonight, and it's Manchester United's title again. You won't find many people betting against United now, but Rovers won't give it up until it's impossible to catch them. At one point yesterday, it looked like there was a chance, but then United eased away again.
Marshall carrying the fight to Bruce. It is a free kick. Kiwomya thinking about taking it quickly. He's done that. Johnson was on the same wavelength. Marshall has pulled out to the right. Michael has fumbled. Kiwomya! Ipswich in front. Someone's got to take charge here for it. But Whelan with confusing walk. Kanchelskis. Cantona. 1-1. Kiwomya. Palmer hits it. Drops for Kiwomya. The flag is up. The flag is up. Kiwomya puts the ball in. The Ipswich supporters haven't noticed the linesman. Alan Gunn has.
I think that's a bad decision. I'm not saying no one's in an offside position, Martin, but this is all about Chris Kiwomya for me. Flag's not up yet. Look at the linesman. The flag's not up yet. Now it goes up. And Kiwomya hasn't lost possession of that ball. He's taken it through on his own. And that's crucial for me.
Manchester United looking for a second here. Giggs! His 17th of the season. Well, we've seen Owen put these away. We've seen Cantona do the same. Owen. Back for Giggs, off the post. Cantona! Morris gets onto the ball. Marshall turning, shooting, almost scoring.
Well, this is the FA Carling Premiership, bottom to top. Last week of the season and still so much to play for down there particularly. Swindon are relegated. Oldham, Everton, Sheffield United, Ipswich, Southampton and Tottenham hoping to avoid the drop. Manchester City are out of it. Chelsea, Coventry, 13th. West Ham make up the bottom half. At the top, it's like this. Norwich exactly halfway, then it's the Villa, Queen's Park Rangers, Liverpool, Sheffield Wednesday, Wimbledon, Leeds, Arsenal, Newcastle. What a great season they've had as well. Blackburn Rovers and Manchester United. And our guests tonight, Phil Thompson and George Best. George is hoping Coventry can win here and hand the title back to United, and Phil Thompson is backing his old mate Kenny Dalglish. And are they right, Phil, not to give it up yet?
I think so. There's so much at stake, isn't it? It'd be silly to wrap it all in now. We've got to keep going until it's mathematically impossible. say Manchester United have been in the driving seat. That felt stood out for long, but I think Blackburn have been magnificent in the way they clung to the shirt tails and then actually put so much of a fright on them to give Manchester United that extra space. They've had a great season, and I think they'll still edge that a little bit closer tonight.
I suppose when you think about what happened to Kenny Dalglish in 1989 when he was the manager at Liverpool and Arsenal went to Anfield and won the title with the last kick of the season virtually, he's right to say, well, until it's impossible to catch them, we won't give it up.
He might point that out to his players. That night at Anfield was absolutely incredible. Liverpool, I think all the supporters, everybody thought it was in the bag. It was all wrapped up and everything. And Arsenal came there, great belief in themselves. They needed to win 2-0, and they came and did just that. So everything's possible, mathematically, whatever way you want to put it. I think Blackburn will keep going, as Arsenal proved that year.
Realistically, it is Manchester United's George, isn't it? But you've had a couple of fresh shaves as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, there are big odds on. But, I mean, I remember, I think it was 68 when we looked like we were cruising with about 4 or 5 games to go and actually lost it on goal difference to Man City. And a couple of years earlier as well, I think we won it on goal difference from Leeds. But you've got to keep going. I mean, as you said, you couldn't put money on anyone apart from United. But it's happened before, and there's a possibility. But it's going to be strange, you know, for Blackburn coming here tonight because Coventry, you know, they're sitting in the middle. You know, they've got nothing to win or lose. So it might be better for Blackburn if they were coming here and Coventry were actually going for something, either fighting to stay up or going for.
There is a strange atmosphere about the place, isn't there? The sun's shining. It's a glorious bank holiday evening. Coventry, as you say, with not too much to play for. It'll be a test of Blackburn's professionalism as much as anything else, won't it?
Well, and their character, yeah. They're going to have to lift themselves, you know, not that they need lifting because they've still got a slight chance. But I think they would rather have been playing against somebody who was going for something.
So you fancy Manchester United, but do you think that they'll win it tonight without kicking a ball?
I've got a funny feeling. I think it might be a draw tonight, yeah. So which would hand it to United, yeah.
I don't think so. I think
draw, incidentally, of course, is good enough, isn't it?
Yeah,
Blackburn have got to win.
Yeah.
A draw is not
But
enough.
as we're saying, I think Coventry, they're just not going to lay down. I think they're going to give a good display. But I think with Blackburn so much at stake for them, I think they'll just have that extra impetus to push them on. And I think they'll win quite easily. Kiss of death again.
Well, you've nearly got one thing right. You did say United would win the title.
Well, they've played some great stuff throughout the season. I'm just so pleased that Blackburn have, as I said before, they've put together a great run and put a little bit of pressure on. I did say that it could go to the wire, and here we are. We're coming into sort of the last week of the season, and Manchester United being pushed all the way.
And they made it interesting for the neutrals, didn't they?
I think so.
Well, this is what they're saying in the Blackburn camp after last week's midweek games.
This is obviously a tremendous help to them. It's a tremendous push to them. But it won't make us in any way, shape or form any different in the preparation for the game at Coventry on Monday.
Do the players still believe you can catch United?
It's still mathematically possible, so we've got to believe it. They're a great side, we know that, and we're also equally as good as we proved when we played them a few times.
Well, we've got 83 points now, and that in years gone by would have been enough to win a title. But it's not this year, so we'll just keep playing away and trying to add to that. But nobody can take away the achievements that lads have had this year, and they deserve all the credit that it's going for them.
It's going to be an exciting game. Coventry play good football, attacking football, as do ourselves. I'm sure there's going to be goals in it. We'll certainly be looking for all 3 points.
Well, if there is goals in it, I think he'll be amongst the goal scorers, won't he, Alan Shearer? Will it be strange for Kenny Dalglish and Phil Neal bumping into each other in surroundings like this, 2 old teammates?
Yeah, I think they've got some great times. You know, you're talking about sort of championships and everything. Those two are at the hub of a lot of what we did at Liverpool. They know what it takes to win a championship, and the two of them will be doing the utmost. I know sort of Phil's not got much to play for, but as professionals go, he was one of the best, and he'll be pushing his team and trying to get the best out of them because he knows the old Coventry supporters quite a lot, and you.
Right, well, we don't normally play ball on a Monday night, but George has had such a bad time with this over the last few weeks. We thought we would put an extra one in and play ball. So here we go, usual prize, £200, which is a nice bonus on a Monday night. Crystal Palace against Aston Villa from last season. Chris Armstrong is away and in here. Now what happens? Usual 3 choices. A is wide of the left-hand post. B is a goal. C is over the bar. A, B or C. How good's your memory? Otherwise you're stabbing in the dark like George. 0891 700 550 is the telephone number. 0891 700 550. £200 as usual, the top prize. Highfield Road tonight for Coventry City against Blackburn Rovers. Just for a change, Coventry aren't battling against relegation. They're building here. The new East Stand, which is beginning to take shape, holds 5,350, I'm reliably informed, or certainly will hold when it's complete by the start of next season. They've already sold 4,992 season tickets for next year, which is very good going. It'll bring the capacity in the ground up to 23,500. There's our studio, tucked away in the corner there. So a very tidy stadium taking shape for Phil Neal and company. Blackburn Rovers, the visitors tonight. Next up, the team news.
Following in the footsteps of great British footballers, today's schoolboy internationals are proving their worth in the Victory Shield. England have style.
Almost Gascoigne-like.
And they must not lose to Scotland if they're to win the trophy. But the Scots are very skillful too.
And look at that, he's gone!
The deciding match Thursday live at 7, Sky Sports.
Monday night football from Highfield Road. It's Coventry City against Blackburn Rovers, who come here knowing they've got to win. If they don't, Manchester United will be champions tonight. The head-to-head, not too many meetings down the years. It's only the fourth, in fact, in the last 27, but 19 played. Coventry have won 10, Blackburn 8, and there's been one draw. And here at Highfield Road, 9 played, 3 Coventry wins, 5 for Blackburn, 1 draw. Bobby Gould was here. He'd tell us he scored when Coventry did the double over the year they went up 66 to 67. Scored in both games, in fact. Ed's Kitchen are entertaining us tonight. Live music at Highfield Road. And they've gone quiet for a moment. That is wonderful. I spoke too soon. Coventry City providing the pre-match entertainment tonight. Right, let's go to team news with Nick Collins. Nick.
Thanks, Richard. And let's start with news about Blackburn's team, because already injuries have robbed them of the likes of David Batty, Paul Warhurst and Mike Newell. Now Stuart Ripley is ruled out. So Blackburn have to make one change from the side that won at West Ham in midweek. Andy Morrison comes into the side in place of Stuart Ripley. For Morrison, it's his first league start. He has started an FA Cup game against Charlton, but a first league start for Andy Morrison. On the bench, well, there's no Ian Pearce. That's perhaps a bit of a surprise. The man who came on against West Ham scored the winner with his second touch, but he's not on the bench. Instead, it's Nicky Marker and Lee Makel. As for Coventry, well, they've had a few long-term injury problems of their own, of course, haven't they? Roy Wegley, for one, I'm sure would have loved to have played tonight against his old club. He isn't, though. Up front, it will be Peter Endlove and Sean Flynn, the same side that drew 0-0 at Everton a week ago. Endlove, of course, 4 goals in the last 5 games and the leading scorer, and his partnership with Flynn up front bound to be fairly pacey for Blackburn, one would have thought. Just to let you know, the Coventry substitutes, Ali Pickering and the veteran Mick Quinn, another danger man, also on the bench. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Nick. So the names and the numbers: Coventry first, Grizovic, Burrows, Atherton, Babb, Morgan, Boland, Rennie, Darby, Jenkinson, Endlove and Flynn. Quinn, Pickering and the ex-manager's son, Jonathan Gould, on the bench. Blackburn Rovers: Flowers, Berg, May, Hendry, Lasso, Morrison, who makes his league debut, Sherwood, Wright, Atkins, Wilcox and Shearer. So no Batty, Newell or Stuart Ripley in that side. Now, Phil, how much of a blow is that, the loss of Ripley? The other two, they've been playing without over the last game or two.
Yeah, they look for Ripley for his pace and his quality of crossing down the right. I think they've done really well. They've had a lot of injuries all season. Warhurst and everything's been out. Shearer was out early on. I think they've done great to keep going, and that's just what they'll do tonight. Kenny's not been scared to throw the young boy Morrison in, and I think they give a good account of themselves all the same.
Well, they come here needing to win, which is exactly what they did last season when the two teams met. And no surprise to find, or remind ourselves, that amongst the goal scorers was Alan Shearer, and this is the sort of thing you were talking about, Phil, building up down that right-hand side, although this was Shearer making his own luck here.
I think they've got two great lads. They've got Wilcox on the left and they've got Ripley on the right. And they work well. When they lose the ball, they tuck in. And they're on the workaholics, the pair of them. Can get up and down. But yeah, they'll miss him tonight. Naturally right side, it gives them a lot of good balance.
It's a tried and trusty 4-4-2, whatever the personnel, which is a change really from his time at Anfield, isn't it? When he would change it around a little bit.
I was just going to say that because he likes to have a little bit of a change with Kenny. He likes to throw a sweeper system in, pack the midfield sometimes. But he seems to have settled at Blackburn on it. Maybe he learns a little bit from Anfield because we learn all the time. Maybe he said to himself, well, I did sort of mess about with sort of formations a lot at Liverpool. I'll go to the 4-4-2, which I think is the best formation. He knows it's the best formation. And he goes to that with the wingers tucking in, and when they get the ball, he break out and stretch the defence.
You can bet your life that the Red Army are watching up there in Manchester tonight. You're too much of a sport, George, to wish any harm upon Blackburn this evening, but that's very good news for Manchester United, the injuries, isn't it?
It is. To be quite honest, I'd love to see Blackburn win it. I really would. To keep it alive, keep it bubbling a little bit longer.
Make Manchester United have to win it rather than get handed it.
Rather than, I mean, last year, the last game of the season was, you know, it was a party more than anything, and it looks like it's going to be the same this season. But I'd like to see them have to at least go out at least one more game and have to do it, and go out and play it and do it for the fans as well.
Which would mean they have to beat Southampton, of course, on Wednesday night, wouldn't it? OK, Coventry City and Blackburn Rovers tonight on the Monday Night Football, and this is the story of Coventry's season. They set off at quite a pace. Mick Quinn straight back into the old routine with a hat-trick at Highbury on the first day. 3 days later, Coventry beat Newcastle to make it 2 wins in a row. Three draws followed before the Sky Blues recorded another good win, this time over Liverpool. September now, and Coventry hadn't yet lost, and they were 4th. Then came a couple of defeats, and at the end of October they went to Loftus Road and got turned over 5-1 by Queen's Park Rangers. Straight after the game, Bobby Gould quit. His assistant, Phil Neal, took over. Neal's first game in charge was a draw against Sheffield United at Highfield Road. After the game, fans gathered on the pitch to protest on behalf of Gould. At the end of November, Coventry lost to Blackburn. They then lost to Manchester United, which is where they finished this season. At the beginning of December, they completed the double over Arsenal. Quinn scoring again. Coventry were now mid-table, and that's where they've been ever since. Their form has been inconsistent. In February, they had a win over Manchester City. But they followed that with 4 straight defeats before another win, this time over Norwich in March. Coventry have survived again. They finish against Blackburn and Manchester United. But Phil Neal's team can look forward to their 28th campaign in the top flight next season. Certainly Arsenal, Liverpool and Everton have had a longer unbroken stay in the top flight. Coventry played 39, won 12, drawn 13, lost 14, 49 points, scored only 39 goals, conceded 43. At home, played 20, won 8, drawn 7, lost 5, 31 points from that haul. Scored 21, conceded 16. Leading scorers, 10 for Unlove, 9 for Quinn, 6 for Wegerle. Average gate approaching 13,500, only 15 booked. They are the fair play leaders. Looks like they'll win that title now. Last 3 league games, beat Tottenham 1-0, drew with Sheffield Wednesday 1-1, and drew at Goodison 0-0. When you look at those facts and figures, Phil, obviously goal scoring's been a problem here, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think all said and done, even Bobby Gould before Phil, they've had a hard time. They find money hard to come by, it's hard to sort of entice players to come here. They do well to keep going, as you say there, 29 years was it, in the top flight. Tremendous achievement, it really is. And he's done well again this year, Phil. They're going to be hard hard-pressed to stay with
Well, how well
Love
has he
and
done?
Babs.
Because there was that uneasy period when Bobby Gould resigned, wasn't there? And Phil Neal had to steady the ship. So what sort of job has he done here?
I think it's great. He's done exactly that. Steady the ship. Because everything could have fell apart. There was all kinds of rumours flying around Coventry City. And then it had died down and Bobby had bring something else out. And it was all unsettling for everybody. But I think Phil's been through those sorts of things before, and he said, hey, let's just get on with the job in hand. And I think he steadied the ship. And I think then his main aim would have been to keep Coventry City in the Premier Division. And he's done just that.
What's your verdict on the band, by the way?
The bandits in my head, didn't I tell you?
Ed's Kitchen, the entertainers tonight,
You can let me
live
know
at
that, I
Highfield
think.
Road. And if nothing else, let me tell you, they are noisy. I think they're quite good as well, to be fair. But he's enjoying himself, isn't he? I imagine that's Ed, under the hat. What do you think, George?
I'm not too sure. Where did he get the name from? What's that?
I thought it was Andy Gray.
He came looking like that tonight, Andy, didn't he? Sure. Highfield Road's our venue tonight for the live football. It's Coventry City against Blackburn, who, to keep the title chase alive, have to win. Anything less, and the title tonight will be Manchester United's.
Wednesday, Sky Sports doubles the chances of winning with two of the best race meetings on the Winning Post. Now follow the form of future stars and witness fortunes unfolding. The Sport of Kings live from Uttoxeter and Wetherby on the Winning Post. Wednesday at 7, exclusive to Sky Sports.
Monday Night Football from Coventry. Blackburn Rovers are the visitors, coming here to win for United's title. First to score? Correct. Alan Shearer, 5-2. Unlove of Coventry is 6-1. Nice atmosphere about the place, although Blackburn would prefer, I imagine, it were more business-like. These are Rovers supporters. And why Batman? He's not playing, but the gentleman's obviously a big fan of David Batty. They've made the journey down the M6, hopeful of seeing Rovers win tonight, but as we said earlier, whatever happens, it's been a great season for them. Only 2 years back in the top flight, they've qualified for Europe, record points haul. And Mick Quinn.
Nobody said it to me anyway.
Sorry, Quinny. Right. Highfield Road tonight, and especially for George, we're going to play ball this evening. Here it comes. It's a clue what's next up, the Blackburn Rovers story so far. But this is play ball. From last season, this Crystal Palace against Aston Villa, £200 top prize. Where does the ball end up? It's disappeared now. Position A is wide left, B is a goal, C is over the bar. A, B or C for £200, 6 Sky Sport t-shirts for the runners-up. Telephone number 0891 700 550. 0891 700 550 for £200. And let's have a look at not Blackburn's season, but from the time really that the chase got serious. Just 11 weeks ago, the gap between Manchester United and Blackburn was 13 points. Then Rovers set about clawing their way back into the title race. Against Tottenham, Alan Shearer and Kevin Gallagher scored in a 2-0 win, cutting the deficit to 10 points. It was further reduced at home to Newcastle, David May scoring the only goal. The difference was 7 points now. They only managed to draw at Norwich, and at Highbury, Paul Merson scored the game's only goal. Kevin Gallagher was stretchered off in this one with a broken leg, which put him out for the rest of the season. The gap was still 7 points, but not for long. Against Liverpool, it was reduced again. Jason Wilcox scored the first and then set up Tim Sherwood. United's lead now was 4 points. But it was back to 8 before Rovers' next game. That was at Hillsborough when Mike Newell scored a late winner to claim 3 more vital points.
It comes to the Norwegian flag. Newell! Blackburn have done it!
They came back from a goal down to put 3 past Swindon. Alan Shearer on the score sheet twice. And the difference now was just 3 points. But their charge took a huge setback at Selhurst Park. Wimbledon running away 4-1 winners. United's lead had widened to 6 points, and Blackburn had to beat Alex Ferguson's side to keep their hopes alive. Once again, Alan Shearer was the man for the job.
Sherwood, and Shearer's free! And Alan Shearer scores for Blackburn Rovers. The challengers have taken the lead. Shearer chasing it on, he's behind Pallister, can't put him down. There's the inevitable outcome. They're off the bench. Blackburn Rovers. Shearer strikes again. 2-0.
A great win for Blackburn, who were 3 points behind again now. They put 3 past Everton, while United scraped past Oldham. But Blackburn hadn't drawn level yet. If they beat Aston Villa, then they would.
Up towards Newell, headed down towards Shearer here! Yes! He's done it again!
Just goal difference separated the top 2 now, and Blackburn had a chance to go clear if they could gain a point at Southampton. But they never recovered from going 2 goals down. Matt Le Tissier set up Ian Dowie for the first, and Paul Allen for the second. Blackburn did pull 1 back, but a Le Tissier penalty sealed it. Queen's Park Rangers were the visitors to Ewood Park last weekend. Alan Shearer scored just before the break. But Carl Reddy equalised in the 84th minute to rob Blackburn of 2 points and leave their title hopes in tatters. United were now 2 points ahead with a game in hand, but Rovers kept on plugging away, winning at West Ham. Ian Pearce, the unlikely hero last Wednesday, controlling with his first and scoring with his second touch of the night. Kenny Dalglish knows that Blackburn cannot afford another slip. It's got to be 3 points tonight, or Manchester United retain the title. But they're already in Europe, of course. Played 40, 125, drawn 8, lost 7, 83 points, scored 62, conceded 34. Away from home, played 20, 111, drawn 4, lost 5, scored 31, conceded 23. Leading scorers, Alan Shearer, 34. That's 50% of Blackburn's goals in the league. 8 for Newell and Gallagher, 27 booked. Last 3 league games, lost to Southampton, drew with Queen's Park Rangers and beat West Ham 2-1. When you look at what they've done, George, and how they've closed the gap, I mean, it's been extraordinary, really, hasn't it? Did you, middle of January, give them a price?
You couldn't do, really, you know, in all honesty. I mean, when you look at what they've achieved in the last couple of years, if you'd have told someone 3 years ago that Blackburn Rovers were going to be back in Europe, they were going to have 83 points, you know, they're going to have a player who's going to score 43 goals for them, they were going to pack the stadium.
A brand new stadium.
Brand new stadium, and buy players for millions of pounds. They'd have locked you up, they'd have thought you were crazy. What's happened there is, it's a dream, it's a fairy tale for the fans. And then back in Europe as well, it's just been amazing. But you know, a few months ago, you wouldn't have given them a chance, and here they are. They're still in there with a very, very slight chance of doing it.
Manager, of course, has had a lot of money, courtesy of Jack Walker, but that's just one part of the equation, isn't it? The second and important part is how you spend it, isn't it?
I think so. I think you've got to look at it. You've got to try and sort of gel your players when you're buying them. You've got to try and pick that. Not everything's worked out rosy for Kenny in the sort of transfer market. He has his, you know, Roy Wegley's here now, and you know he went to Blackburn, and Kenny at least had a look at them and everything and sort of moved them on. He spent 20-odd million, which is fine. We've seen managers in the past sort of spend vast amounts of money and not win anything. But like what Kenny's turned over there is quite frightening. And like even people on Merseyside now are walking around with Blackburn Rovers shirts. And this is the kind of thing that's happened. So the rest of the country's probably sitting up and taking notice.
£3.3 million for Alan Shearer seemed like a lot of money when he bought him from Southampton, but is it now?
This lad has got everything, as far as I'm concerned. He's probably one of the most complete centre forwards, if not the most complete. When you think of the horrendous injury he came through as well, he's come back and playing better than ever. It made me laugh when he was coming back from injury. Kenny was sort of, I think, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, saying, you know, well, when you know, we'll play him if we need him. This lad's great, and also the supply he's been getting from the wide players, which is a shame. You know, we've said that Ripley's not playing, but the supply from him and Wilcox, and also Graham Lasso, who's been providing some terrific crosses, and he's always going to get in the end of them. He's a terrific finisher, and not only that, makes his own as well.
His attitude and work rate is tremendous, and that's, the players will appreciate him for that. He's not one of these who'll stand round. He chases, works across, quite like Ian Rush in that way. And he's a great lad to have about. Apparently he's great in the camp as well. Good fun. You know, enjoys his training and everything.
What's he worth now?
I don't think Kenny would sell him, but you're talking, you know, he'd probably go to the Italians, 8 million, something like that. But he's a tremendous asset. As well, this has been a snip at £3 million. But it's the problem, though, I think, for Rovers is they've had to rely heavily on his goals. I think that's where maybe they've lost it a little bit. He's not had enough goals all round, which is Manchester United have had them in all kinds of positions. He hit in double figures, which I don't think. I think there's only Shearer who's into double figures at Rovers.
Yeah, I think when you look at when you look at United, you know, they probably have 5 players at the end of the season who are in double figures, and Blackburn, as Phil says, really relied on one player really, and a blow as well when Gallagher was injured. That was a big blow to them.
Alan Shearer is a great ambassador for his club. He'll always take time out to do this sort of thing, sign an autograph or two.
I think so. I think Kenny's like that. Kenny likes everything to be sort of nice and easy going and everything, but he expects him to do the right thing. You know, you can have your laugh, you can have your jokes, keeps a nice happy camp, but like, you've got to do your stuff and you've got to do your right things for Blackburn Rovers. You know, you're doing the things for the name of Blackburn Rovers, on and off the field, and do it.
I think the nice thing as well, when you look at him like this, and you know, you hear players moaning about football and moaning about little things. When you see someone like this doing the autograph, he looks like he enjoys training, he enjoys the work rate, he enjoys scoring. He just loves football, it seems to me.
And he loves winning as well.
Yeah, we all do.
He really does enjoy winning. And if Blackburn are going to win here tonight, they'll need goals from Alan Shearer. And they have to win, of course, to keep it all going. The opposition, we've almost forgotten about, are Coventry City. Highfield Road is the venue, and after the break, we'll be getting some thoughts from those fans that Alan Shearer was just talking to.
Frontier of freedom, torn between sovereignty.
You do what you want with your own scalp. Do not be telling us what we ought to do with ours.
And savagery. Between rivalry.
Someday I think you and I are going to have a serious disagreement.
And romance.
I will find you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how far.
Daniel Day-Lewis and Madeline Stowe. Sunday at 8 on Sky Movies. The Last of the Mohicans.
Monday Night Football from Highfield Road. Coventry City against Blackburn Rovers tonight. Coventry safe, but not too much to play for. But remember, they finish at Old Trafford, so they can have a say yet in the destination of the title. The odds, Coventry 100 to 30, Blackburn 6 to 4 on, 5 to the draw. Rovers, as we've said a couple of times, have to win here tonight or the title is United's. Let's find out what their supporters think they can do here.
Well, you've got to admit it's fairly slim now, but as the saying goes, it's not all over till the fat lady sings. I can't really see United dropping any more points. But I think we should be given credit for what we've achieved this season. It's only our second year in the Premier League, and to run them so close and have such an amazing run that we've had, I don't think people are giving us the proper credit that we deserve.
Anything can happen with Southampton fighting for their lives. Letitia played well against us. If he plays the same, maybe it can do us a favour.
This season, Man United won the league. I'll concede that. They only got it 1 point for the next 2 games, the two home games, and it'd be stupid to say it's not over, wouldn't you?
Well, it's still mathematically possible, and until it's mathematically impossible, then we've still got a chance. But even if we don't do it, the main thing is we've achieved our main target for this season, which was qualifying for Europe, which for us is just tremendous.
We've not given it up yet, but we'll accept the consolation of Europe. We've never been in that competition before, and we've come a heck of a long way in 3 years. We looked like heading for the 3rd division until Jack Walker came in, and now we look like finishing runners-up in the league and into Europe for the first time ever. It can't be bad, can it?
Well, it can't. I'm glad he said that. We'll accept the consolation of Europe, he said. And 2 years back in the top flight, George. That's a terrific achievement, isn't it?
It is. I said earlier, that's got to be Alan Shearer.
Alan Shearer has been trying to do that for the past 10 minutes or so. I think he's finally hit the target. Sorry, George, you were saying. I'll tell you if there's another one coming.
Yeah, the fact that they're doing this, it means that they've enjoyed their season, and no matter what, you know, they're back. They are back in Europe, and it's
well, I'm glad
tremendous
they've just took the eyes off the elephant now, because they've just been trying to hit that.
They're gathering, I think. Look, aren't they? Lining up now. Who's next?
It's been great, hasn't it? You look at the great thing about having all the money to spend and everything. You look at the 2 lads, Wilcox and May. They've been there all the time. The 2 of them are great seasons. The lad May, I know he plays alongside Henry and everything. And nobody talks about him much. He just gets on with his job. He's got great pace and everything. So if he'd come on the market, you know, you're talking about 2 million for that boy. He's really had a great season.
It'll be interesting as well to see if, you know, now that they've got into Europe, if Jack Walker will make more money available, to see if they will strengthen it, you know, because it's a big thing for them to be in Europe, big for their fans, big for the club. It'll be very interesting to see if he digs into his pocket again. I think he might.
I was going to say, well, part of the secret of success, I suppose, is a happy dressing room. And let's find out what they've said, or what they are saying about Coventry season.
I think it's been a pretty mediocre season, really. I think he's been trying out a lot of new players, but I think we've got the team there that are capable of challenging next season for a much better place, maybe even getting into Europe.
It's been a good season. I mean, OK, we had a few disappointments as far as the FA Cup and the League Cup were concerned, but at the end of the day, you know, the sides come together towards the end of the season. We're very pleased the way things are going. 27 years in the top flight, and what we're looking forward to now is probably a good season next season.
Could have actually done a lot more with the players that we've had. The teams that are above us, I don't think we could have really competed with anyway. Bit of a shame about Bobby Gould, but good luck to Phil for next season.
We've certainly battled away. I think since Phil Neal's come in, we've changed the style of play. We've played a bit more attractive football, and he's brought a few new reliefs into the team.
Well, I think it's been a bit disappointing, especially recently, but I hope we're going to come good tonight.
Sorry, mate.
A lot of things have gone on. I think Unlove's had a good season. Big Quinn has been a bit disappointing, but not too bad, all in all.
Mark Scott asking the questions. I seem a little disappointed, George, but what is success for a club like Coventry?
Well, it's always going to be very, very difficult. I mean, they really are, I suppose, it's a horrible phrase to say, use, but in the middle of the road club, really. You know, they've got a lovely little stadium here. You know, talking to people coming in, they're using phrases like it's a lovely little stadium, they're a lovely little club, they've got a lovely little pitch. That's, I suppose, the way people look at Coventry City. It's very difficult for them. They don't really get the crowd, so the revenue's not coming in through the gates. So I suppose they really can't afford to go for the big players, which is a shame. So you really have to keep, you know, pegging away and struggling year after year, season after season. And the fact that they've been around for so long is great for them. I think for not one of the clubs that aren't really one of the glamour clubs.
They had one great season. When they won the FA Cup, everybody thought it was going to be great. But they had a little bit of money to spend, and I think they bought a couple of players just after it. But it never really took off, and I think they thought they got the hands smacked, really. They got the fingers burnt in the fire, and they just seemed to slip back to mediocrity again. So what? Just said that as well.
We're done.
Right, mate. For the last time before the kick-off, let's play ball again.
He was a Greek philosopher, wasn't he?
Mediocrity, yes, I think he was. It's a game from last season, this. Palace against Aston Villa. Usual choice, A, B or C. A is wide left, B is a goal, see is over the bar. The £200, that's the top prize. There are 6 Sky Sports T-shirts for the runners-up. A, B or C. The telephone number, 0891 700 550. The lines are open now, 0891 700 550. Top prize, £200. Match commentators tonight, Andy Gray, who always used to enjoy coming here because invariably he scored, and Ian Dog. Good evening to you both.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Yes, there's a real end-of-term atmosphere. I have to tell you about Blackburn Rovers. When we arrived here, Kenny Dalglish was trying to persuade us that Ian Pearce wasn't in his squad tonight because he had his ears pierced and had an ear infection. We found out it's a calf strain, but he's got a twinkle in his eye.
You should have seen him, Keesey. He was panicking. Do I believe what Kenny's telling me, or do I not? Oh, it was a great 10 minutes, honestly, down in that tunnel, watching him scamper around everywhere, finding the truth.
But the truth was out in the end, and then, of course, we had Blackburn Rovers trying to knock holes in Richard Keys' box over there with the ball.
I haven't seen him jump so much.
Alan Shearer nearly connected as well, didn't he? Seriously, though, have Blackburn Rovers, do you think, do we interpret this light-hearted mood they're in tonight as the acceptance that in their heart of hearts they know the game's up?
I think probably in their heart of hearts they do accept that the game is up. But what they must do, I feel, is not do what Aston Villa did last year. And you and I sat there and watched Villa lose 1-0 at home to Oldham and then hand the title to Manchester United with that result. What I think is important is if Manchester United are going to go on and win it, which now seems almost certain, then at least make them win it on the pitch. And I think United players would want to do that after last year. But Blackburn must win tonight. They'll want to do it. What would happen if they didn't win tonight? They only picked up a point. United lost the next 2 games. What would you think? It could happen.
Let's check on the 2 sides for you. First of all, Coventry City. They're on a run of 4 unbeaten matches, so manager Phil Neal sees no need to tinker. That means Mick Quinn has to celebrate his 32nd birthday on the bench. The striking roles being filled by converted midfield player Sean Flynn and Peter Unlove, whose new roving role has brought him 4 goals in the last 5 matches. The side captained by Phil Babb, who already tonight has collected a whole clutch of Coventry Player of the Year awards.
Yes, and that Player of the Year award could be important because I think both Babb and Atherton have got a big job tonight. When we look at the Blackburn side, we'll see why. It'll be up to them to keep that Football of the Year very, very quiet tonight. I mean, Burrows, we know all about Brian Burrows. He will bomb forward from this side, Morgan from that side. But what's interesting about this setup is the 2 front men. Unlove won't be playing up there to stand up there and be marking. Both these players and Sean Flynn, they will move about. Their game will be moving. You watch this, there'll be plenty of crossovers going from both sides, trying to drag defenders down, spinning and going down the sides, both sides, all about movement. Any balls played up from the back will have to be up to chest and feet. If not, I expect the Blackburn defence just to mop them up.
That's the Coventry City side. As for Blackburn Rovers, well, it's a make-do and men job. They have over £9 million worth of talent unavailable to them tonight. Gallagher, Warhurst, Batty and Newell all missed the win at West Ham. They're again missing tonight, and now Stuart Ripley misses his first game of the season with knee trouble. Ian Pearce, the youngster who scored the winner with his 2nd touch at West Ham last week, is missing with a calf strain. Yes, it is a calf strain, and all that means a place in the starting lineup for the first time in the Premiership for 23-year-old Scot Andy Morrison, who was signed from Plymouth last summer. How do you think they're going to line up, Andy? It'd be interesting.
Well, for the first time this year, I'm not too sure about Kenny's lineup, and Morrison is the question mark for me. I think Wright and Lasso I'll be employed on the left side and work up and down there in tandem. If Lasso goes forward, Wright can fill in at left back. Both are happy there. I don't think they'll alter the back four at all. His strength has always been in a solid back four. Wilcox has operated down this right side in recent games. That may not be, that may be a thing to do tonight. He's also will be one to look to cut in onto his left foot. But it's in midfield, what will he do there? He may go 3 like that, Ian, and then say to Atkins and Sherwood in particular, you get forward as much as possible. Let's leave Andy Morrison just to sit in front of the back four and protect and throw people forward. Of course, other things he might do. Colin Henry's been known to have his go up front, so maybe if he wants to keep a 4-4-2, he might throw that in. Jason Wilcox could play up front with Shearer if they want to go 4-4-2, but that 1-11 suggests more of a 5-man midfield to me.
So the 2 sides now filing out into the tunnel. There's the Footballer of the Year in the background, Alan Shearer, and how well he deserved that. Very close vote, though, with Peter Beardsley. Of course, one recent parallel with the Manchester United situation is 2 home matches to come. Didn't France have that situation in the World Cup? And they lost both of them to Bulgaria and Israel. I mean, strange things do happen sometimes.
Yeah, France were very much a favourite side to get through. 2 home games, Israel and Bulgaria, as you say, they couldn't pick up a point. I mean, football's a strange game. It often doesn't go the way we would predict, Dean, and that's why it's important for Blackburn to win tonight. And then Manchester United know they have to get something on Wednesday or next Sunday.
Teams on their way out then. Coventry City safe again, and what a great season Blackburn have had. Referee Philip Don, England's World Cup ref. So tonight, live on Sky Sports, with this ticker-tape welcome, it's Coventry City against Blackburn Rovers. Stay with us, we'll have the whole match for you live right after this break.
First came Tony Tucker.
And Tucker is down.
Then Frank Bruno.
Oh, he's got him in the right.
Now it's Phil Jackson's turn to meet the right hand of destruction when Lennox Lewis makes his third defense of his WBC World Heavyweight crown. See the fight live. Sky's coverage begins Friday night at 11:30, or you can see the fight in full Saturday morning at 10. Lewis versus Jackson from the real heavyweight in sport. Sky Sports.
You're watching Sky Sports.
It's match time on Sky Sports. Coventry City versus Blackburn Rovers. Exclusively live on Ford Monday Night Football.
Stunning portrait of love and war. Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis in the television premiere of The Last of the Mohicans, Sunday at 8 on Sky Movies. The Last of the Mohicans, just one of 30 premieres you can see in May on Sky's movie channels. Call 0506 484 777. That's 0506 484 777 now, and we'll switch you on.
Monday Night Football from Highfield Road. Half-time score, Coventry City 1, Blackburn Rovers 1, which won't be enough to keep the chase going from their point of view. The title is United's tonight if it stays like that. 4 shots from Coventry, 1 on target. Derby's goal, 5 from Blackburn, 4 on target. Just the 1 corner between them so far, but it's been a smashing game. 53% of possession, Coventry. Monday Night Football to the strains of our band tonight, Ed's Kitchen. God, they play loudly. Phil Thompson and George Best with us in the studio this evening. It's been a good half, George, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been quite enjoyable. You know, started off, I thought it was going to be a little bit dodgy, but the early goal for Coventry sort of livened it up a little bit, and yeah, it's been quite enjoyable. I'm a bit surprised that Blackburn haven't put them under a little bit more pressure. I thought, you know, they still got a chance. I thought they might have come out and gone for the jugular, really. But Coventry were the ones that took the lead.
Let's have a look at the opening goal, scored by Julian Derby. Was there much that Blackburn could have done about this, Phil?
I think Henry just maybe gets a little bit closer. Sometimes you've got to realise that there's sometimes you can't win the ball. You just got to step back, and that was one of them. It's come off him. But Julian Derby there, if anybody, people at Bolton will remember him, he scored some great goals, and he can hit a ball. And he was a bit disappointed in Tim Flowers. But I tell you what, this lad can hit the ball. And I've seen him score some great goals, and that flies past him.
So 1-0 to Coventry City, and then Graham Lasso got the equaliser for Blackburn Rovers. A terrific hit, but maybe Steve Ogrizovic should have done better? Andy certainly thought so.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed. I mean, you know from early on that he's going to hit it. We all know what a terrific shot Graeme Le Saux has got, but I mean, you know right here he's going to smash it. Maybe slightly onside, but it really is. It's gone underneath his body as well. He'll be very disappointed he didn't get a touch to it at least.
He seems to have his arms under his chest, doesn't he? He just seems to get them out and get them sort of
I mean,
low.
from here, yeah, you know he's going to hit it. And it's gone right along the ground. You know, I think the keeper should have saved it. Yeah.
I think Blackburn will step up a gear and go for the win?
They have to. They really have to. I mean, there's no ifs and buts about it. They've got to go out and try and go for the win.
I think they've stepped it up just a little bit towards half-time, but the last 15 minutes, I think they start a little bit easy-osy. Having said that, I don't think the fans have given up hope. They've come in, they've been in great voice. I think the players took it a little bit easy early on. I think the last 15-20 minutes they've really came back into it, and I've got a feeling they'll go for it now.
Coventry have certainly played, haven't they?
They played some great stuff. Like, they were the team who took it up. Some great movements, everything, some good passing, and they were getting to the byline once or twice right in front of us.
Right, now a little earlier than usual, let's get the play ball result. Well, our question tonight, same as usual really, but the game Crystal Palace against Aston Villa, what happens to this ball? Chris Armstrong bearing down on goal. Now where does it go? A, which is wide left, B, a goal, or C, over the top? George Best is panicking already. We'll give him first call. Here comes the result.
I've had his thinking. This is definitely C.
C.
George
Definitely.
Best's play ball, it's called now.
Britain's greatest ever player. We just can't get this right.
I'm going for A.
A.
I fancy it.
C for George.
I'm going for a later on C, yeah.
All right.
I'm finishing on a high note.
It's terrible when George is going for D.
Oh, look at that. Yes. I couldn't have got further away, could I?
A. Did somebody tell you C?
Yes, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. I'll have a word with him later.
Ever had the feeling you've been had?
Yeah.
The winner, Rachel Hatch. Well done, Rachel. The £200 is yours. And the Sky Sports T-shirt winners, Robert Alpin, Frank McBride, Mr. C. Beatons, Rabjit Chima, Susan Crabtree, and Michael Parker. Well done to you all. Sorry.
I knew I was only joking. I knew all along.
Blackburn 1-1 at the moment at Coventry, which, as we've said so many times tonight, is not enough if they want to keep the chase going. It's been a smashing half so far, but can they find a winner? Which would mean Manchester United have to beat Southampton on Wednesday. We'll find out next.
This summer on Sky, the sports.
You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save it, yeah.
For sport, you gotta have Sky, the great summer choice.
One at half-time on the Monday Night Football from Highfield Road. If it stays like this, of course, Manchester United are the champions. If that's the case, then the trophy will be presented on Sunday at Old Trafford, and we will be there. Congratulations from all of us here at Sky Sports as well. Big thank you, as Darky said, to Blackburn for making it so exciting. More from the champions in a moment or so.
Is this some kind of game?
I'm her husband. You can have her with my blessings on one condition. You hear me out.
He's a verbal exhibitionist.
Right.
His wife, I feel sorry for.
You mustn't believe all he says. He's a sick man.
Some lovers never know when to quit. From controversial director Roman Polanski, the TV premiere of Bitter Moon. Tonight at 10 on Sky Movies.
Coming up tonight on Sky Sports, next the soccer news, 10:15 World Superbikes highlights, and at 12 o'clock tonight, NASCAR racing. Goalkeeping mistake, George?
I think he'll be a little bit disappointed. He'll be very disappointed. He said it from a long way out. It's not risen more than a couple of inches. It's bubbled a couple of times. He might have been slightly unsighted, but you would expect 9 times out of 10 the goalkeeper to get at least a hand on that and keep it out, yeah.
Who'd be a goalkeeper?
Oh, no. He's under the microscope, aren't you?
All the
make
time.
Mistakes, yeah.
All the time. And here's Derby's second in the second half. This is what won it. This is what secured United's second successive title. First team since Liverpool a decade ago to do that.
I think Derby will be getting a few bottles of champagne in Manchester this weekend. Keeper's done well to even get a touch on it.
They failed to pick up. They followed the ball coming across all the defenders instead of sort of, you know, picking up and being alive. Like I think 3 of them have all sort of got pulled, dragged towards it. Derby's just hung off. And I tell you, it's a good goal, good position.
Let's have a look at that FA Carling Premiership table then. Bottom to top, Swindon down, Oldham, Everton, Sheffield United, Ipswich, Southampton and Tottenham all battling to avoid the drop. Manchester City, Chelsea, West Ham and Coventry are clear of that. That's the bottom half. And the top half, confirmation that Manchester United are the champions. Norwich, Villa, Queen's Park Rangers, Liverpool, Sheffield Wednesday, Wimbledon, Leeds, Arsenal, Newcastle, Blackburn will finish second, and Manchester United can't be caught.